Why do authors use text features? Why do authors use text features? Why do authors use text features? Let's start by looking at what the text features are. This is the title. This title is going to let the reader know what the topic of the text is and what it's about. It says Floating Festival. This is the subtitle. Under the title, the world's largest gathering of hot air balloons takes off. This is the subtitle. The world's largest gathering of hot air balloons takes off. The subtitle gives me more information about what the big idea of the text is, and it also gives me some ideas about what is the author's purpose. Now I've looked at the title and the subtitle, I want to look at the headings. And here are the headings: Liftoff and Riding the Wind. So if I look at the title, Floating Festival, the subtitle, the world's largest gathering of balloons takes off, and then I see Liftoff and Riding the Wind, I have a pretty good idea what I'm going to read about. I know that these headings are going to organize the author's ideas so that when I read each heading, I'm going to be reading for the main idea to see what the author has to say about liftoff in this floating festival of balloons and riding the wind. And I know I can use these headings to quickly help me find information I need to know about these two important ideas. So I've looked at the title, the subtitle, and the headings. I'm really going to focus on the graphics now. Graphics help the reader visualize to better understand the author's ideas in the running text. And the graphics are going to help the reader predict the big idea before they read and cross-check while they read. So we see graphics here. We see these beautiful hot air balloons. I see all sorts of interesting ones. I see pigs and I see suns and faces are on them. So I see all of these photos in the background, and one type of graphic is a photo. I don't see maps or timelines here, but I do see a diagram showing the parts of the balloon and what they do. We would also call this a text box or a sidebar because it gives additional information related to the topic. Let's see, we learned about going up, how a hot air balloon rises because of the hot air inside being less dense than the cooler air outside. We have a little picture showing that. And the parts of the balloon, the burner, the basket, the instruments, the envelope, and the air valve. So I've previewed the title, the subtitle, the headings, the graphics. There weren't any captions. I did see a sidebar text box. I don't see an exploded quote. And now we have the running text. The running text is the actual writing, the paragraphs. Now, as I am getting ready to read this, I want to look and see if there's anything that sticks out. I see that there are some bold words like molecules, density, and buoyancy. I remember seeing those words over here when I was looking at my text box or sidebar. I know that when I read the running text, the author is going to give me the main ideas and their supporting details and evidence, and I know that while I'm reading, I can cross-check with all of the other text features. Now let's use all of that information and make a prediction about what we're going to read about. What is the big idea or the central idea of this text? Floating Festival. The world's largest gathering of hot air balloons takes off. Each fall, hundreds of hot air balloons float over Albuquerque, New Mexico. Some of the balloons are round, others come in wacky shapes like a pig, a sun, or football. The spectacle kicks off the annual Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. It's the world's biggest hot air balloon festival. Hot air balloons can soar 910 meters above the ground. That's twice the height of the Empire State Building in New York City. Flying that high can be scary at first, says Peter Cuneo. He's the balloon pilot and vice president of the Albuquerque Ballooning Association. When I took my first ride, I was anxious, says Cuneo, but understanding the science behind how hot air balloons work gave him the confidence to take to the skies. Liftoff. Attached to the top of each balloon's basket is a gas burner. It heats the air inside the balloon. As the air gets warmer, its molecules move faster and farther away from each other, says Cuneo. That causes the air's density, the amount of air filling the space inside the balloon, to decrease. The hotter, less dense air in the balloon is lighter than the cooler, denser air outside. Buoyancy, a force that lifts an object less dense than its surroundings, causes the balloon to rise. Takeoff is very gentle, says Cuneo. Most people don't even know they've left the ground. Riding the wind. Hot air balloons don't have steering wheels. Pilots must catch a breeze that will blow them in the direction they want to go. They move up or down to find different wind currents. Pilots heat the air in their balloons to go higher. They release some of the hot air to go lower. At the fiesta, pilots put their flying abilities to the test by competing to win prizes. They fly over a big contest field and try to grab keys to a new car or envelopes of money from atop 9-meter poles. They also score points by dropping beanbags onto targets on the ground below. Controlling an 8-story balloon isn't easy. Science know-how and a little luck can make all the difference.